Howdy, and welcome to the MrMaple Show. I'm Tim, and today we got a special one for you. We've got Keith's top 5 Japanese maples. Keith, how long have you been growing Japanese maples for?
Basically you could say 50 years, but for the most part 25 to 30.
How did you find out about us here in East Flat Rock?
Well, technically, I was buying several years ago, and I'm pretty sure I bought from you off of eBay back when, because I remember buying for somebody local.
We were the Maple Mafia on eBay when we first got started. We had a customer cancel on a big order, and we said, how are we gonna sell these things? So we listed them on eBay and started the Maple Mafia years ago. And then, now that has essentially become our limited release on the hour, every hour that everyone's checking. Those are all those 1s and 2s interesting plants getting listed on MrMaple now.
Yep. It's been a while since I bought from there, and then I started back about a year and a half ago, I guess, now to buy from here.
Now,
the open houses.
Now I know where you live, but where are you from for our listeners?
I'm in Mill Spring, North Carolina.
So that's not too far away from here. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump from here at MrMaple. We here at MrMaple, we have these open houses, and Keith's one of our common sights here. He comes in early, you'll see him out there at the gate whenever it opens, and then he's in the greenhouses trying to figure out all the cool plants we've got in all the houses for each open house.
Looking for them nuggets.
Oh yeah, a little bit of gold in every house.
Yeah, there you go.
So Keith, what's your number 5 Japanese maple?
Number 5 Japanese maple would have to be Monticello Gardens. Just love the shape of it. Great color to the leaves. Mine tends to do its own thing. It actually does reverse turns in the branches. It's just an awesome tree. Colors change a little bit through the season, so it's really higher up in my list, but it's hard to out of several hundred to pick top 5.
Now we used to do a lot of garden shows where we would load up almost a tractor trailer load worth of trees. We'd fill up an entire 32-foot enclosed trailer and haul it down to, say, Columbia, South Carolina, or Knoxville, Tennessee for a garden show. And when we would do that, we got customers from everywhere. There was this guy named Richard who had this incredible nursery just right outside of Columbia in this area called Monticello. And his name of his nursery was Monticello Nursery. And Monticello Gardens was a chance seedling that he had found that held its color real well, gave some of those brighter red colors, and had a shape more like orangeola, rather than your typical red lace leaf shape. And he said, guys, I want you all to start grafting and produce this tree. And we said, sure thing. I mean, it's been a killer and a knockout.
It's an awesome tree. I recommend it to anybody. Does great. I've got it in sun, almost full sun, probably about 2 or 3 hours afternoon shade, but it's doing well. But I do recommend it to anybody.
Oh yeah. So what do you have as your number 4 Japanese maple?
Number 4 is getting a little off the trail, but I'm going to have to say S Sunset. Just love the variegation of it, but the neat thing about it is that purple, when it's in the right light, everything turns to pink. And it's just an awesome tree. I'm looking forward to seeing it get big. It's just small right now, but another one I recommend to anybody that can grow it in their area.
Yeah, I was just talking to Emery Davis on a podcast recently about European sycamore maples. And he actually called the ones that have the purple on the bottom side of the leaf of an Acer pseudoplatanus. He called them Acer pseudoplatanus variety asperpurpureum because they've got that purple on the back side of their leaf. I'd never heard that, and I was like, oh, interesting. And it makes a lot of sense because not all of the pseudoplatanus have the underside that's purple like S Sunset does. It was an introduction that was found by Esk Valley Nursery in New Zealand. And just because it says Esk Sunset, some people have taken the more marketable term and started calling it Eskimo Sunset. So you may see that in the nursery trade sometimes under the name Eskimo Sunset. It's named after Esk Valley in New Zealand, so it is originally the Esk Sunsets. That's what we go with here at MrMaple. But that is a beautiful tree that just gives all types of variegation on that larger leaf.
Yep.
And that's what's really cool. And you see one of those trees in a small plant, you're enjoying the variegation, and then as it gets big, you're enjoying the sunlight hitting the leaf, looking through the purple on the back side of the leaf. It's a winner all the way around.
It's a multi-function leaf. I mean, you don't have that with many. So that's what's awesome about it.
So what do you have as your number 3 Japanese maple?
Number 3, I'd have to say Spring Delight. Ours right now, we're growing on a front porch. Gets morning sun, afternoon shade. But the color changes through the year are awesome. I just enjoy it. Looking forward again. It's still young. I've had it about 2 years now. But there's another one I'd recommend to anybody that's looking for something unique.
Yeah, Spring Delight is a selection by Talon Buckholtz at Buckholtz Nursery. We recently purchased them last fall. It's been a blast. But Spring Delight is a weeping, spreading out lace leaf that has purple nails in the early spring, gives that little extra awesome spring interest out there in the garden. I mean, that is such a cool tree to have out there.
I enjoy it.
Gives it some good orange colors. The other thing I like about it is it just has a really nice arching habit, where a lot of the lace leaves are heavily cascading. This one just makes this really nice arching habit where it goes up and then arches downward, and just creates this unique hooking shape that is really attractive when it's in leaf. And even if it's out of leaf, the structure on Spring Delight, it's really beautiful.
I just enjoy it. My number 2, I hate to do it, but I've got 2 for number 2. My first one is Strawberry Spring. I enjoy it. I love it.
Strawberry Spring, that's a good one.
My wife's favorite one. You just can't do without it.
That's a great one.
My other one is, and it's unique in its own way, is Black Lace. Now, my wife and I were looking at it this spring when it leafed out, and I know there's no blues.
Yeah.
But if you look at that leaf when it was sheening, it had a blue sheen to it, and I mean, it was just awesome too.
I like your 2A and 2B. Your Strawberry Spring, again, that's one of Buckholtz's introductions. Guy Malo France said that's one of his best introductions that Talon's ever done, and I would agree with him. The spring color on it is unlike any other Japanese maple. You get a true strawberry color in the spring with that reticulated variegation. I mean, we saw a specimen of this at the Flora Farm near Buckholtz Nursery this past spring, and we did a cultivar highlight with it. Just seeing a tree like that of that size and stature is shocking. And then you had your 2A or 2B, whichever it is, of Black Lace. That is one of the most underappreciated cultivars, I think, out there. The color is so dark. It's got a leaf almost like burgundy lace, but the color is one of the darkest colors on any Japanese maple. And the sheen on the leaf is just so attractive as well. And it can get some of those kind of weird blue colors to it.
So at least there is some look of blue in some of these maples, but it's just an awesome tree. Both of them are.
Oh yeah, and it's got a good upright habit with a semi-pendulous shape. So the branches on Black Lace goes up and sort of has this unique sort of semi-cascading shape for an upright tree that sort of spreads out over time. I mean, pair that with a summer gold. You know, I love the color yellow, and that's just really going to kill it out there in the landscape.
Well, a little hint on my summer gold, you do a dance right now. In the last 4 weeks, it grew 3 feet. I got one sprig that grew 3 feet.
Oh my goodness.
About 30 inches. So.
Well, that's pretty impressive. So what do you have as your number 1, Keith?
Number 1, if I have to pick this, we waited for it a while, and one of the things about this one, we found 5 shades of green on one leaf with the cream color. We're looking at Snow Kitten.
Oh my goodness. That's a colorful one.
Oh boy. We were sitting there counting one night on the porch looking at it, and we counted 5 shades of green without the cream.
It's a colorful one. Snow Kitten is a variegated sport on Makawi Yatsubusa. It's one that's everyone's after. Mm-hmm. We're really getting that tree in production here at MrMaple and at our Buckholtz farm. But it is just a tightly growing Makawi Yatsubusa type. It was found by Larry Stanley as a variegated sport coming off of a Makawi Yatsubusa he had in a bonsai pot. And he had the greenhouse collapse on his trees, and out from the snow stuck this variegated sport, the story goes. And, you know, it's crazy that this tree has hit the market, and it's so different than what's out there. There's a bunch of different variegated forms of Makawi Yatsubusa, but this is one that has that Oridano Nishiki style variegation. So, you know, this is a tree that you always want to give some pruning to. I always tell people that, and people don't want to prune their Makawa types. Prune your Snow Kittens, because your Snow Kittens, also known as Yukiyama or Yamayuki or Elmer, or it's had a billion different names throughout the years, but Snow Kitten, the more you prune on it, the more variegation you're going to get on this tree. If you don't prune it, it starts to become greener and greener. And you can prune it and promote variegation again. If your Snow Kitten has gone green, give it a pruning. We've got a whole video on how to prune the Oridano Nishiki style variegations to promote variegation. It fits in that category. And give it a pruning, you're going to get lots of variegation across it. Snow Kittens are always looking amazing coming from nurseries because we're grafting off of them. We're pruning on them. Mm-hmm. And the more we prune on them, the more variegation you get. So keep your Snow Kittens pruned, and it's going to be a super beautiful, tightly layering, pink and white and green and all different shades of green like he was talking about. Variegated Makawi Esabusa.
You know, in the springtime, you got that pink coming in, and it just gives it all that much more pop. And then it starts blending over to the cream white, depending on where you got it. And then you get all these greens in it, and you just can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, it's a rock star. Keith, I appreciate you jumping in a top 5 here at the Mr. Maple Open House. We're celebrating 50 years of our family, the Nichols family, growing Japanese maples and selling them here in the mountains of western North Carolina. That's just the Nichols side. We're not even counting the hillside, which my grandmother started growing in the 1950s. So we got a little bit extra years if we start counting on my grandma, on my mom's side. But y'all, Keith, appreciate you jumping in for this top 5. Killer top 5. Let Keith know what you thought about his top 5 in the comments. And if you're out here at an open house and you see Keith, say hey to him at the next open house. Tell him you saw his top 5. Y'all, thanks so much. We appreciate all of y'all. Take care. God bless and have a great day.